In today's video, we're going to take a dive into the April 2025 housing market update for Cedar City, Utah and St. George, Utah to give you an idea of what is going on in these two markets and help you decide if it's the right time to buy or sell a home. My name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. If you would like to buy, sell, or invest here in Southern Utah, I would love to help you out with that. Please feel free to call, text, or email anytime. That contact information is down below in the description. Now, once we run through these two markets, I will give you an idea of how the housing market is looking nationally, where we can expect home prices to go, and what we are currently seeing with mortgage interest rates. Now, I've pulled up some slides to help give us a visual of what is going on. If you watch these monthly, I am going to do it a little bit differently because one of you requested that I show the average with the median so that you can see how these two differ. So I'm going to show you Cedar City first, then I will show you St. George as we move through this. I want to compare the median sales price versus the average sales price. Median means half of the homes sold for less than this amount. Half of the homes sold for more than this amount. Average is when you take all of the sale prices, you add them up, and you divide them by the number of homes that you added up. Now, the difference between the two is that the median drops us right in the middle of those price points. The average is often skewed because you could have a few outliers, meaning you could have a $1.5 million home that skews that average range where most of the homes might be sitting closer to $500,000. So that just kind of gives you an idea of why I typically pull the median sales price, but I do think it's interesting to take a look at the two. You'll notice for Cedar City, we have the median sales price for the last 10 years in blue. We have the average sales price for the last 10 years in red. You'll notice that for all of these years, with the exception of 2018, which was kind of right on that year, the average sales price has been higher than the median sales price. Now, before I dive in too much further, I want to be clear, this is the April housing market update for 2025. However, the data I am pulling is for the month of March year over year. The reason why that is because I am pulling all of the most recent data through March 31st. It is currently April 1st. I have to wait until April 1st until I can pull that data. So this is where we are currently sitting at the beginning of April 2025. So as we're going through these slides, just be aware that we are comparing March year over year for the last 10 years. Now, for the median sales price to end out March in 2025 for Cedar City, we're sitting right around $357,000, whereas the average is closer to $372,000. Keep in mind, you are going to have homes that have sold for a higher price point that bring that average sales price up. Now, before I show you St. George, I just kind of want to draw your attention to what the median sales price has done in Cedar City over the last 4 years. 2022 was when those mortgage interest rates started to go up. For the last 4 years, our median sales price has been pretty stagnant, a little bit of fluctuation, up slightly in 2023, down slightly in 2024, back up to where it was in 2023 in 2025. So Cedar City's market has really just kind of stayed stable. No huge decreases as far as the median sales price in the last 4 years. You can see the average sales price took a little bit larger dip from 2022 to 2023, also went down from 2024 to 2025, slight increase from 2023 to 2024. For the most part though, Cedar City's housing market has continued to appreciate over the last 10 years. Of course, our huge jumps between 2020 and 2022 when we saw those mortgage interest rates super low and our housing inventory was not where it needed to be in order to maintain a stable increase. Now, this one shows St. George. Again, we're going to look at the median sales price compared to the average sales price. Just like Cedar City, that average sales price typically stays higher than the median sales price here in St. George. St. George has a lot of beautiful custom homes that are really high on the price point. If you just went to the St. George Parade of Homes, there were several homes listed in there between $7, $8, $9, $10 million. So there's definitely an inventory in St. George that has a much higher price point. Those homes tend to bring this average price point quite a bit higher. If you get a few multi-million-dollar homes that have sold in that month, then yes, it is going to bring your average sales price quite a bit higher. That is why I tend to look at the median sales price, because it is right in the middle, meaning half of those homes have sold for less than that, half of those homes have sold for more than that. Some of them quite a bit more than that in St. George. Now, currently in 2025, the median sales price in St. George is right around $515,000, whereas the average sales price is closer to $715,000. So that really gives you an idea of how high some of the homes are priced here in St. George. There really are some beautiful, massive homes in St. George. Now, you'll notice over the last 4 years, the trends in St. George have been slightly different than what they were in Cedar City. Cedar City, pretty much stable for the last 4 years. St. George did actually see the median sales price come down from 2022 to 2023 and again in 2024. So quite a big jump from 2022, where the median sales price was right around $560,000, all the way down to $487,000. So we did see quite a big jump there. It has started to go back up again in 2025, right around that $515,000, but still not quite to where it was in 2022. Now, before we look at the absorption rate and the days on market, let's just take a look at what the current data shows for these two cities. Cedar City, we have our new listings in blue. We have our active listings, those that are currently available and on the market, in red. We have our pending listings in purple, meaning those are homes that are in contract, but they haven't quite closed out yet. And then we have our sold listings in green. Those are the ones that sold in the month of March. What I really want you to notice is our active listings. You can see that our active listings are much higher than they were in 2024, higher than they were in 2023. We really haven't been here since almost 2019, not quite up to where they were in 2019. However, much higher than they've been over the last 5 years. Now, what you'll also notice is our new listings went up quite a bit from last year. This is probably the largest increase in new listings that I have seen for the last several months here in Cedar City. We had 123 new listings come to the market in March in 2025. That is a large jump. We haven't seen that many new listings hit the market since 2021. This is what has really helped our inventory. Then when you compare that to our pending listings going down from what they were the last several years, and our sold homes going down from what they were since probably back in 2018, this is actually the lowest we've had in closed homes for the last 10 years in Cedar City. So you can see we're not having as many go into contract right now, and we are not having as many homes sold right now, but we've had quite a few more sellers come back to the market. That is bringing our active listings up higher than they have been for several years, which is a good thing for you buyers. St. George also, active listings up quite a bit from last year, pretty much the same in 2023 and 2024, but we have seen a big jump from 24 to 25. We actually have more active listings in St. George right now than we've had since 2016. So if I take that all the way over here, we have more active listings in St. George than we have had for quite a long time. Now, the new listings to the market in March weren't quite the same jump as they were in Cedar City. And really the new listings that have come to the market, it's pretty comparable to what it was pre-pandemic. So 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, we're getting about the same amount of listings that came to the market in March as we did those years, a little bit less the previous 4 years. Pending listings slightly up, but still pretty much on the same path that they've been the last 4 years. However, our sold homes has gone down. We've had the least homes sold in the last 10 years for the month of March in St. George. So this should start to give you an idea of what our housing market is currently doing. If we take a look at the absorption rate, which is your month's inventory, remember your month's inventory means that if nothing changed in the market, we didn't add any more new listings, and we just sold what is currently here, it would take about that many months to sell off the current active listings. I now have Cedar City in blue. I have St. George in green. You can see St. George is almost as high as it was in 2016. We're sitting at about 4.4 months supply here in St. George. Cedar City is pretty comparable to 2019, sitting right around 3.45 months supply. Both of these markets have had a monthly supply of housing that has continued to increase over the last 5 years. Now, for national reference, typically a seller's market is when you have less than a 5-month supply. A buyer's market is when you have more than a 7-month supply. A balanced market is between 5 and 7 months supply of housing. And taking a look at the median sales price in both both of these two markets, you can see there hasn't been too much of an increase in Cedar City, and St. George even went down a few years before it started to trend upwards. That should kind of give you an idea that a balanced market in our area is a little bit closer to that 4-month supply. Right now, I'm seeing both buyers and sellers have negotiating power depending on the condition of the home, the age of the home, and what that home has been listed at. If a seller comes in and they understand the market and what is happening and what their competition is with their home, then they are able to sell without having to negotiate too much. However, if a seller lists their home, they have overpriced it for the market and for what else is available, then that buyer has a lot more negotiating power. So I am seeing a very balanced market currently. You'll want to be strategic when you are listing your home, and you don't want to just jump the gun right away. If you are looking to purchase a home, make sure you know what is out there, how long that home has been listed, and if that seller is willing to work with you. Now, before I jump into some national statistics, I wanted to take a look at the days on market. I also added the median here, so we're going to compare median days on market versus your average days on market. Remember, median is right in the middle, so half of them are going to sell faster than this, half of them are going to take longer than this. Average is when you add them all up and divide them by the number that you added up. Again, average can be skewed because if you take a home that is listed in the millions or even up above 600,000 or 700,000, that home is going to take longer to sell than, say, a home that's closer to 300,000 or 400,000, because the buyer's pool or the people that are actually looking at that price point is less. You don't have as many buyers at that price point, so naturally those are going to sit on the market a little bit longer. However, I wanted to give you the comparison. You can see the average always tends to be longer than what the median is. If you have a home you're looking to sell that is on the higher price point, maybe pay more attention to the average days on market. Of course, when we sit down together, we will take a look at homes that are comparable to yours, and we'll get a better idea of what those days on market are. For now, the median days on market in Cedar City is about 33 days, and the average days on market in Cedar City is about 63 days. So a good month's difference between the two. Median is slightly down from where it was last year. Average is quite a bit up from where it was last year. And this is kind of all over the place. However, you can see it goes down with what our median sales price was, and then it begins to trend back upwards, just like our median and average sales price slide showed us. Same thing for St. George, same trajectory here. Average days on market is much higher than what our median days on market is. Now, these days on market are actually pretty comparable to what Cedar City had. We have 33 days on market as our median days on market, and we have 67 days on market for our average days on market. Now, I did forget to mention this, but if you're not familiar with the area, Cedar City and St. George are about 45 minutes apart. St. George is a much larger area, up around 110,000 in population. Cedar City's closer to about 40,000 in population. Cedar City's a high desert, so it does get 4 mild seasons. St. George is pretty hot in the summers, but has really beautiful winters. So now that we've kind of ran through these current stats pretty quickly and given you an idea of what these two markets are doing, I want to take a look at where home prices are headed nationally and compare them to what we're doing in our markets. Now, these slides I have pulled from Keeping Current Matters. They do a great job of updating us, so I wanted to share these here. This quote from Mark Zandi, he's the chief economist with Moody's Analytics. He said, "The risks of a U.S. recession starting in the coming year are uncomfortably high and rising. I would put them at 35%, up from 15% at the start of the year." That sounds kind of scary, doesn't it? They've been crying recession for several years now. You hear that word and immediately you start to panic, especially if you're looking at buying or selling a home. They've also provided us with this slide, though, from CoreLogic. It says a recession does not mean falling prices. So if we take a look at the last 6 recessions, so 1980, 1981, 1991, 2001, 2008, and 2020, only 2 of them have shown falling home prices. Of course, 2008, that was our big housing bust. Of course, that one went down. The only other one was in 1991 by 1.9%. So we did see home prices fall slightly in that year. So that can be a little comforting, knowing that a recession doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to lose all of the equity that you have in your home. Now, Lori Goodman from Fellow Urban Institute says, a lot of people have this idea that home prices fall during recessionary periods. There's really not much of a connection between home prices and recessionary periods. other than, of course, the great financial crisis. Now, this slide from Freddie Mac says a recession means falling mortgage rates. So not necessarily falling home prices, but falling mortgage rates, which is what we've all wanted to see. So again, the last 6 recessions, 1980 to 2020, mortgage interest rates actually went down in all 6 of these. So the largest one in 1981, they saw that drop by 5%. The lowest one in 2001, it went down by 0.63%. So we've all been hoping for those mortgage interest rates to come down. And if we're going to have a recession, at least that's something that we can look forward to. Now, keep in mind, we want to make sure that we have the inventory when those mortgage interest rates go down so that we do not see a huge jump in home prices like we did in 2020 and 2021. You'll be pleased to see this slide from the census. It says the number of new homes on the market reaches the highest level since 2009. So we actually do need new homes. We need that inventory to go up. I would say of the current active listings in St. George, about 26% of those are new construction. In Cedar City, about 35% of those are new construction. That is a really high percentage of homes for sale that are new construction. So builders are doing their part right now. But you'll notice in 2008, 2007, where we had that big housing bubble and it burst and we had so much inventory that home prices plummeted, we have been well below what we needed as far as new construction goes for several years now. It has actually been the highest it's been since 2009. Now, what this means, and this is actually from Odetta Kushi, who is the deputy chief economist from First American, they said this means more homes on the market and more options for home buyers, which is good news for a housing market that has been underbuilt for over a decade. So we need that inventory. That's why these mortgage interest rates have been high for so long, because we needed to get the inventory back so that buyers had an option, they had a choice, and those home prices didn't keep going higher and higher and higher. Now, Freddie Mac says in 2025, we expect the pace of house price appreciation to moderate from the levels seen in 2024, while still maintaining a positive trajectory. Now, moderate means balance out, right? So if we take a look at where the home appreciation has been starting Q1 of 2021, we were seeing crazy appreciation here all the way through, I would say, Q4 of 2022, down here between 3, 4, 5%. That's pretty average. But in Q4 of 23, Q1 of 24, we even saw that go back up quite a bit more. End of 2024, pretty moderate here. This is kind of what we expect on average for the home appreciation. Now, when they say decelerate, it doesn't mean depreciate. It just means you're not going to get the appreciation at the rate that you might have seen in years past. So if we take a look at what some well-known sources are forecasting for 2025, and there's quite a lot of them here. Most all of them see an appreciation between 0.6% all the way up to 4.9%, with an average being 2.7%. Of course, we have Moody's Analytic and Morgan Stanley that say we will see slight depreciation ranging between negative 0.4% and negative 2%. So not too scary when you take a look at where home prices are headed nationally. Going back to what our home prices have done and where our markets compare, Cedar City's market is comparing quite a bit to 2019. You can see we still saw appreciation in 2019, but it was slight. So Cedar City's probably going to do something similar to what the national projections are. St. George's market is more comparable to what it was doing in 2016. Again, St. George still had appreciation from 2016 to 2017. Very slight, not a whole lot. So again, I think we're looking very similar to what our national projections are. Now, I know this is getting pretty long, but I did want to just jump in real quick. Take a look at where mortgage interest rates currently are and where our inflation currently is to see if it's the right time for you to pull an application to get a mortgage loan. So real quick, our US inflation rate has gone down from last month. Remember, this is always a month behind, so this is showing the end of February. End of January, we were at 3% inflation. We are down to 2.82% inflation ending February. Again, the goal is 2% inflation, but we always like to see that go down. Our mortgage interest rates, according to Freddie Mac, as of March 27th. Remember, this is an average for a 30-year fixed mortgage. Again, it's going to vary depending on your debt to income ratio, your credit history, your work history. Those are things you're going to have to figure out with your lender. But for now, this is where our average is. It's right about 6.65%. You can see that in January, it was over 7%. We have been trending down for the last 3 months, which we all know is a good sign for us. But I do want to share with you what Sam Cater, the chief economist with Freddie Mac, said. He said recent mortgage rate stability is benefiting potential buyers as purchase demand is stronger than this time last year. This is an indication that a thaw in buyer activity could be on the horizon. Now, this slide is just taking the span of the first quarter of 2025. It shows you how mortgage applications have risen this year. You can see they've gone up quite a bit in just the last 3 months. We saw them dip a little bit towards the end of March, but they have been trending upwards in this first quarter as we see those mortgage interest rates stabilize a little bit. This slide also shows you that there are more home buyers in the market right now. MBA mortgage purchase applications shows 6% up year over year, so 6% more than last year at this time. Redfin home buyer demand shows 5% more year over year this time last year. And then showing time, showing activity, showing time is what realtors use to schedule showings. This is actually showing a 35% increase from the start of this year. So we are seeing a lot more activity as buyers are starting to come back to the market. Thankfully, our inventory has been going up, so hopefully we will have the homes that buyers need as you come back. Now, here are a few takeaways from this market update. If you are a seller, inventory is coming back to the market. That means you need to be really competitive and strategic when you list your home. Make sure it is showing great. Stage it like a model home. Declutter. Put some of that stuff in the garage, box it up, put it in a storage unit, but declutter the home so it shows well. Make sure your outside appearance looks great, or your curb appeal, and make sure that you are actually looking at the data and the competition. You want to know what those other homes that are similar to yours are listed for so that you're the most competitive one on the market. If you list too high, it is going to hurt you in the long run. I promise you that. If you are a buyer and you've been waiting on the sidelines, now is the time to get with a lender to see where your finances stand, to see what you can qualify for, and start making those plans to get out there and find the home that is right for you. Of course, I'm not pushing anyone to the market. If it's the right time for you, you will know. If you want to connect with a lender, please reach out to me. I'm happy to do that with you. Now, I know this got long. I apologize for that. There was a lot of information to share. I wanted to make sure you had it. If you made it this far, remember, my name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. I really would love to help you buy or sell here in Southern Utah, so please don't hesitate to reach out. All right, until next time, have a wonderful day.